And greetings and welcome to the QCast. This is the season premiere of season 6. And before we get going here, I just want to thank everyone that's been so amazingly supportive of this little effort called the QCast. We're 5 years in, 5 seasons in, and 202 shows. This is show number 203. And as we kick off the new season, I thought, what better place to start than my Illinois Wesleyan Titans? I've got 5 Hoopers from the men's basketball team with me here today. And we're going to kind of have them introduce themselves in just a second. But those are Mason Funk, Karlo Colak, Nathan Boldt, Jackson Niego, and Josh Fridman. 5 guys that are returning to the Titans. Obviously, can't have the whole roster on. I picked these guys to represent the group and just talk a little bit about how things are going, the excitement of starting a new season, and all those things. Let's have you guys introduce yourselves before we get going. I'm sure that QCast Nation here wants to hear from you guys. How about give me a little your name and where you're from, high school or town, whatever, and what's your major if you have one, something like that. So I'm going to go in order of my screen here. Let's start with Mr. Mason Funk.
All right, my name is Mason Funk. I'm from in town, Bloomington Normal. I went to U High, which is right down the road, and I'm a bio major pre-med.
So bio pre-med, a lot of long nights for Mason Funk. We'll get into that a little more as the show goes on. Karlo Kolak.
How you doing? I'm Karlo Colak. I'm from Glencoe, Illinois. I went to New Trier High School, and I am a finance major.
Thank you, Carlo. It's good to see you. Nathan Bolt.
I'm Nathan Boldt. I'm from Barrington, Illinois. Went to Barrington High School, and I'm a business major and sports management minor.
Thank you, Nathan. Jackson Niego
Jackson Niego. I'm from Western Springs, Illinois. I went to Lyons Township High School and I'm a finance major.
and Josh Fridman.
I'm Josh Fridman. I'm from Northbrook, Illinois. I went to Glenbrook North, and I'm a finance major.
Good to see you, Josh. And just in terms of positions, so Mason Funk's the guy that started all 30 games last year. He's a 6'5 wing. Karlo Kolak was actually the leading scorer in the NCAA tournament games last year, a 6'5 guard. Nathan Bolt is a 6'10 forward. Jackson Niego. Jackson, I can't remember your height. Can I call you maybe about 5'11 point guard? Would that do?
Yeah, I'll
5'11?
do.
Right, good. Josh, I don't know. I don't know what we call you. I'll call you a 5'10 point guard. Are you good with 5'10?
Yeah, I'll take it.
We're not gonna do a lineup or anything, but you're 5'10. Let's go with that. Guys, it's great to see you. It's such an exciting time of year. I know yesterday you had the open practice where fans got to come in as part of homecoming weekend, which is terribly cool. And so there's just a lot of buzz right now. The official start of practice season for D3 Hoops is this coming week, I believe. But you've been able to get this thing going. One thing I wanted to ask, and Jackson, I'll start with you. You guys got to take a trip, an overseas trip to Portugal and Spain in the summer. Talk a little bit, Jackson, about like what that trip was like and what that did for you guys in terms of getting a little head start on the season here.
Yeah, for sure. That's a great question. I think there was benefits on the court as well as off the court. On the court, we got to try out some new defensive stuff or some new lineups. Maybe some guys that didn't play with each other as much the year before. Trying some new lineups in practice as well as in the games. And I thought we really grew as a team, defensively, offensively, kind of gelling, and that's rolling into this season. But I think even more importantly was the memories that we made on that trip, and kind of the bond that we started when we all came in together, and then obviously through the summer and even now, it's kind of like it's easier to play basketball with your best friends. So I feel like everyone from that trip has gotten closer, and we've gotten better on the court as well as off the court, and we're seeing that now preseason.
I'll bet I can imagine that was amazing. Carla, do you have a favorite memory from the trip, whether it be on the basketball court or I'm guessing off the basketball court, something you can share with the
Yeah,
QCast
yeah,
Nation? Let's just put that disclaimer out there. What was your favorite memory, Carla, of that trip?
yeah. I think we took a lot of road trips and definitely the bus rides there were really fun. But we went to a place called Sesimbra in Portugal, and we went to this beach, and it was just a fun day. Just relaxing with the guys. I think we just won our first game right before that, and so it felt like a nice little gift that we had. And the guys were playing in the water, going around, getting ice cream, eating, trying out seafood, and it was just a good day overall. Um, And yeah, like Jackson said, really strengthen our connection. And I think you can just really feel it right now being on the court together with these guys.
Mason, what was the caliber of basketball? I was following kind of Eric Stock's live tweets and things, and so I was aware of scores, but I had no idea like who you guys were playing. Like, what was the actual basketball like over there?
I mean, it was scrappy and it wasn't the prettiest thing. And it was like each game we played got a little bit more physical. And so we started out maybe at like the lowest tier of basketball. And then by the time we got to our second game, they were pressing us hard. And it was really a test to see if we could get into our offensive stuff. And then by the time we got to our last game, it was like we were playing grown men and we really had to lock in. So it was definitely good for us to face that type of offense and defense.
And I noticed that the teams you guys played, they were playing other familiar teams. I think like North Central from the CCIW played one of those teams, and those they were playing other small college teams. So it was interesting to see kind of scores. Nathan, were there any other 6'10" guys that you were playing against on the trip? And did you get any D3 dunks in on this trip?
Yeah, actually, I did get a few D3 dunks, and the first team we played didn't really have that much height. The Canadian team had a couple tall guys. I don't think they were 6'10", but then the last team we played in Madrid they had like a guy who was like my height, but that was really it.
You got a D3 posterizer.
Oh, that's
You
nice.
posterize the guy.
We got to find the video of that. I want to see that. And Josh, I know you made the trip and didn't play due to some kind of little injury going into that. Can you talk us through like what is are you better now? Are you back to practice? And what's the status of that injury you had going on that kept you out of the games on the trip?
Yeah, I hurt my shoulder and the Spain practices. I'm fine now. Like I'm practicing and stuff. I just couldn't play because it was like too soon.
And you're in a very dark dorm room. Did some Augustana guys capture you? Are you in Rock Island right now, or where are you okay?
No, I'm good. Yeah, I'm just I room we got three people in the room. So like when someone has the lights off, like kind of got to keep the lights off.
I got you. I know how I've been there. Let's go. So guys, last season, 24-6, it's Sweet 16. We had that really tough game where we were trying to get to the Elite Eight, up 16 against Lacrosse, looking like we're going to play WashU the next night. And just, like a tough, I don't know how many, 4, 5, 6 minutes, whatever that was. It was an incredible season. And as before we move on from last season, we lost 6 really, really good seniors. And I just want to ask a few of you about these guys: Hakim Williams, Trey Bazell, Shane Miller, Nick Roper, Harrison Williamson, and Marko Anderson. Having been around the program and come to senior night and everything, boy, these guys had a lasting impact on the program, not just on the floor, but just in things they did to help you guys along and all the younger guys. Karlo, when you think about that group of 6 guys, talk about the impact that they had on the program.
Yeah, good question. I mean, when we talk about those 6 guys, and everyone here can agree, that was a really close group of seniors. You have 6 guys, and you can't tell who's best friends with who. They're all best friends, right? And so you could really feel that on the court. And so the culture that they built, me and Boldt came in as freshmen, and they were kind of the class ahead of us. And so that's just the culture that they built and the togetherness that they had with us, and everything that we created together. We're just trying to continue that, and I think we're doing a really good job. And obviously not just that, but they were also great players. And so like during practice,
Yeah.
during games, those are some of the guys that you can rely on. Like you said, Hakeem Williams, Shane would kill at practice, Nick Roper, all those guys had their own unique abilities, and it would it would just be hard to guard them, but that's what got us better. And so we're gonna replicate that this year as well.
And Nathan is part of that class that was one class behind those guys. I'd like to ask you the same question. Just your thoughts on those 6 guys and what they meant to the Titans.
Yeah, I would agree with Carlo. Like they all were great people, great guys, and on the court, they're all great players. And I don't know about Carlo, but at least for me, it was weird. Like the first workout, the first practice without them, and us being the seniors was a lot different. But like you said, we're trying to carry on the same culture, the same tradition, just try to, follow what they started.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a great group, and certainly we thank them and wish them well. Know those guys will be closely connected to the program. I know I saw Harry at the golf outing. I think Trey was at the golf outing. So those guys will be right in the middle of things for sure. We'll play against Rope. So November 19th is my birthday, and the Titans versus Chicago. How bizarre, Mason? How bizarre that we have to play against Nick Roper. Is that going to be weird?
It's gonna be so weird. It's like taking guarding Roper in practice and doing it like the real thing. And it's gonna be so weird, I think.
Yeah, that I still can't quite. We're in some strange times, of course, here, and but good for Nick, who's going to get a great master's degree at Chicago, great school, chance to play that fifth year, and that's going to be a real interesting game trying to guard Nick. Wanted to ask you guys just a few things, just personally. Jackson, I'm going to start with you. You come from a basketball family. I'm from the south side of Chicago. I went to Brother Rice High School. I stay closely connected with kind of the south side, and so I know the name Niego really well. And when I heard you committed here, I was really excited. I think you were one of the really early commits in your class. Can you tell everyone that doesn't know a little bit about like your family and ties to basketball? Just talk through like some of the cool ties there to the sport.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely in the blood. Let's see, my dad grew up on the south side, went to De La Salle, played. He's one of eight. He played basketball with his brothers in high school, and then they also all went to Lewis University, played there in college. And he met my mom, who also played at Lewis in college. Now, I asked my dad who was better, who had a bigger impact playing the game, and he always say my mom was better, had a bigger impact on the games, but they were both great ball players. My dad actually got drafted by the Houston Rockets, and then he did a short stint with them, and then I'm the youngest of five boys. My four older brothers all play basketball. They went to I had one brother go play at Indiana and Hillsdale, one at Lewis, as well as Holy Cross, and then two that played together at DePaul. So I kind of followed suit, and played college basketball. And when I took my visit here at Wesleyan, I fell in love and decided to come here.
Yeah, that was a big recruiting win. I remember, people thinking, oh, he's going to go to DePaul, and that was I know that Augustano's on you, so that was a really big one. But yeah, really well-known basketball name, kind of South Side, South suburbs, etc. Josh, as just a sophomore to be now, you had a lot of recruiting interest. You had a lot of buzz around you. Um, what was your decision at the end, Josh, in terms of how you found your way to Illinois Wesleyan? I remember you visited for, I think I saw you at the Sigma tournament that year when you were a senior. But what led you to pick the Titans?
It was a lot of things. Obviously, like the school has a lot to offer, and the coaches were great from the beginning. But one on my visit, I stayed overnight with Jackson. Like Jackson kind of like took me through the visit, and I don't know. I just remember like talking to him about everything, and he was like giving me advice for my senior year and stuff. I just remember like it felt like at home. So like that was a big reason why I committed, just like the people here and like my future teammates. Yeah.
It's what's really cool, and this is it happened to us time and time again. Is you're a really well-known point guard recruit from the Chicago area, and here's Jackson, who's a point guard that's a year older than you, who's the guy trying to sell you on coming, which is, I think, one of the great things about the program. I don't know, I need to go much more into it than that. I mean, I think it says what it is, right? It's really, really cool that Jackson would work so hard to try to get you here. And you guys obviously have become this really cool point guard duo. Nathan, your recruitment out of Barrington High School, heard your name early on. In fact, just randomly, I know where I was when you called the commit. We were on the yeshiva trip, and we were at ground zero. And I remember Coach Rose getting a phone call, and he smiled, and he came back to Coach Andy, and he said, Nathan Boldt's going to be a Titan. So that was really cool to remember. I was literally 5 feet from Coach Rose. What was your decision all about, Nathan? How did you pick the Titans?
I mean, it's similar to, what Josh and Jackson said. The coaches, I remember it was my senior year of high school. It was a random open gym on a Tuesday at like 7 p.m. and Coach Rose walks in. It's like he watches the whole open gym. And then we talked for a little bit after. I just knew then like he's a great coach and just a better guy. Like he's just a great person in general. And then Coach Etheridge as well. I would text with him a lot, and he just was a really genuine, guy, just a good coach. And then when I on my visit, just like Cody Mitchell and people I met, I just knew like it was a great program, and they talked about how great it was to be a Titan, and I just fell in love with it.
Karlo, a lot of people don't know you were born in Croatia. You grew up a little bit in Croatia. I can't remember what age you were when you came over here, but talk a little bit about kind of your path. That you were at New Trier High School. I think you had a lot of recruitment. I know my guy Abe at McAllister wanted you real bad. He's mentioned that to me. You visited McAllister. I just know this because Coach Abe really wanted you. How did you find yourself at Illinois Wesleyan, Karlo?
Yeah, good question. Well, I moved here when I was 12, so first 12 years of my life lived in Croatia. Different life down there. I really loved it. Go back every summer, so you know, it's just really exciting. But for my recruitment, I agree. I talked to a good amount of colleges, but I took a visit here, and same thing as Josh and Nathan, as they said, just the people that were surrounding me, and they had a really exciting year that year, and you could kind of feel the culture, the excitement, just the togetherness that the group had, and it was something that I wanted to continue. My senior year at New Trier, our group, we were really good, and I was looking for something similar, and so I just thought Wesleyan was, a great fit, and that I committed.
I remember a good friend of mine from the suburbs who follows basketball, saw a lot of your games, and he said, "This Karlo guy's got a lot of good players around him, so he's a little bit under like the radar, but he is a perfect Titan." Someone said this is a huge commitment. And then Mason, you know this, and just so QCast Nation knows, your grandfather Jim Funk hired me at State Farm in 1993. He hired my wife at State Farm. And I know your other grandfather, Eddie Monahan, who's a fantastic golfer and a great guy. So the fact that you're here as a Titan makes me feel super old. But Mason, I remember your senior year, everyone was worried that Augustana was all over you. I kept telling people that Mason Funk was going to go to Illinois Wesleyan. I got Coach Rose, don't worry, we got this. But boy, they were worried. So Mason, you had a lot of people on you. You were an all-state player, a superstar. How did you pick the Titans, Mason?
Well, I think one of the biggest things is that Coach Rose and the staff made me feel wanted and that I can make an impact right away. I mean, I could see that from the open gyms that they would come to, and I'm sure they have some stats somewhere about how many games they came to when I was in high
I'll
school,
bet.
because it felt like they were at every single one. And what's special about Wesleyan is, well, when I was like going in my recruitment path, the first thing I would focus on was the academic level of the school. And when I came to Wesleyan, they hit really hard on that and made the school seem like a prestigious school, like it is. And I think this is the perfect balance between academics and athletics. And that was my main priority when I was going through my college search.
And
So,
talk a little bit about you're a pre-med guy, you said. And so that's all. How do you balance that, Mason? I mean, that's all these guys have to balance that. Pre-med comes with a lot of extra stuff, and the season's busy. Being a student athlete's tough. Like, how do you juggle all this stuff with your degree?
I think it's just the way I perceive basketball in school. Like they're their own separate entities. I I enjoy the stuff that I do in school, but it's definitely hard. So when I get the chance to go practice, it's like a break from that. And that's what I use basketball as. It's like an outlet from what I'm doing in school. And it's a lot of fun. Like I get to spend my time with these guys, and it's really a great break from the grind of school.
That's very, very well said. I think people find that interesting, and Division III student athletes all across the country have that same thing to juggle. Um, so let's talk about this year, guys. I had someone that follows Division III say to me a couple weeks ago, said, "Q, how are you going to handle like this rebuilding year? You've been so good for the last few years. Your guys have been," and said, "Will this be difficult?" I said, I just kind of laughed because I'm aware of our roster. I'm aware of the five guys here and a whole bunch of guys that aren't here. Let me ask you, Jackson, a little bit of the kind of your sense here coming into the season and what you're feeling from early practices. You guys have had 7 practices now using those early new rules. But I mean, Jackson, are we rebuilding at the Shirk Center this year? Or are we just, is this going to be like a 500 year? What are we thinking?
I think at Illinois Wesleyan, the whole like idea of rebuild or whatever, I don't think that to be true. I think when you come to Illinois Wesleyan, this is one of the main reasons why I committed here and what I've experienced these past 2 years is you come here to win the CCIW, you come here to play in March, and I fully expect that from this year. And I might be a little biased, but playing with these guys on screen and playing with the guys in the Shirk Center, there's no one I'd rather play with, no one I'd rather go to war with. We got some gritty guys that are very skilled, and I truly believe everyone's bought in. I think last year we had a very bought in team, and I think that's obviously those guys graduated, but I think that mentality of nothing's given, everything's earned has really carried over into this year. And you've seen with these past 8 practices when we get to play, I mean, guys go at it. A lot of competitors and a lot of skill.
Josh, from your standpoint, first of all, congrats. You were named the D3Hoops.com National Rookie of the Year. You were named the CCIW First Year Student Athlete of the Year. You had a really big freshman year. It feels to me like this team is incredibly talented, but it's totally different than the team last year. The team last year could just almost physically beat you up on occasion, could lock you down. You know, you put Hakim on whoever, and he's going to have an off night. It feels to me, Josh, that this team, the thing I'm excited about, a little more firepower. Like I just look at the roster, I'm like, that guy can shoot it, that guy can shoot it, that guy can shoot it. Am I right about this, Josh Fridman? Are we going to see maybe the ball going in the basket to a little different degree this season? What do you think?
Yeah, we definitely have a lot of dudes that can shoot this year, but I still think we'll be pretty like physically dominant. Like, I mean, if you look at the screen, like Jax for a point guard, like he's a bulldog, and then Carlo, Funk, Boldt, and then we still have a bunch of size, but yeah, we definitely are gonna have like a different level of shooting this year.
And Nathan, from your standpoint, you've been in the middle of this now for several years at kind of a reserve role coming off the bench. So wherever you end up this year, whether you're starting or whether you're the sixth man, you're going to provide, enormous size to the Titans. Nathan, how do you look at your role differently this year, Nathan, coming into this season?
I mean, the biggest thing that I've talked to with Coach Arthur and Coach Rose a lot is just my leadership, being a senior. Over my 4 years, I've kind of gone through a lot of different like stages, like in my career, I would say. So I guess I can just relate to a lot of different guys and what they're going through. So my biggest thing is just the leadership role and just being there and being a voice for people. And then just whatever the team needs me to do, I'm gonna do, whether it's getting rebounds, scoring, guarding, anything. I'll just do whatever the team needs.
Nathan had a big D3 dunk in the tournament last year, which I appreciate. And I got on the video of that thing. If you guys replay that, Nathan's dunking that. I'm right here doing this thing. So that was big time. I was excited about that. Karlo, leading scorer in the NCAA tournament last year. You really kind of found your groove towards the end of the season. Seems like you had a big game. Maybe it was at Millikan or something, like on the road at Millikan. And that kind of like you just kept rolling after that. How do you look at this team, Karlo? And it's a different team, right? We lost 6 great seniors. How do you look at this team and what we're all about this season?
Yeah, I think just to start it off, I don't think in my 4 years there's ever been a closer team that I've experienced here. Just going back to togetherness, and it's really a big key part to this team because everyone wants to succeed with everyone else, and I want to see Funk succeed. I want to see Jackson, Nathan. I want to see Josh succeed, and it's reciprocated as well. I think that's a big part of our team, and I think that's going to play a big part in the success that we're going to have this year. But just going off of that, I mean, I'm just looking to continue, kind of how I finished last year. Whatever this team needs me to do, I'm looking to fill any holes that we have, but I'm not seeing any holes right now. Honestly, we have size, we have defense, shooting, playmaking, we have everything. And so I'm just really excited. And I think this could be a really special year.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was talking to Coach Rose at the golf outing, and he made a statement to me that opened my eyes. He said we'll actually be bigger this year, Q. He said we're going to be bigger than last year. And I got to thinking about it, and we'll get into that in just a second. Some of the guys that are in the mix that aren't on this QCast, but yeah, when I say we're a different team, I'm not saying we're small because we have some guys. And Mason, I'm reminded how hard you guys work when I see you guys, not on the screen. I'm used to watching you guys play on the stream where you can't tell. And then you see you guys in person. And I mean, you guys just these shoulders you have, like everyone is lifting so hard. Mason, in terms of the preparation that goes into the season, I mean, tell people that think Division 3 is like intramural basketball and you just show up. Like how hard you have to work to be a D3 hooper. Can you talk about that side of it?
I mean, it's hard work. It's what you do over the summer. It's the skill work that you do. It's the time you spend in the weight room. And then when you actually get to school, it's now you get to do these things with your team and you guys get to do it together. So we're lifting like 2, 3 times a week as a team and then playing open gym. And then dudes are standing behind and shooting even when they have stuff to do later in the day or Saga's closing or whatever it is. Dudes are still getting into the gym and they're putting in work. And then every Friday morning we wake up 5:45 a.m., 6 a.m. conditioning. And that stuff's not easy, but it definitely builds us um, closer as a team and it prepares us for what the season's going to bring.
And Mason, in terms of your role, like I believe you're the leading scorer of the guys that are here on the podcast. You're leading scorer of the returners. You average 9.5 rebounds a game. You've been right in the middle of this. You're 2 years here. Now you're in your junior year. Do you see your role being different this year, Mason? You had a whole bunch of guys you had Nick Roper and Harrison Williamson and Hakim and all these guys that left. Do you look at your role differently this year?
I don't look at it differently. I just see it as I'm going to go out there and play basketball. If there's a ball that's coming at me off the rim or something, I'm going to go up and get it. Or if there's an open lane, like I'm going to take it. I don't see it as like my role changing. I'm just out there to play basketball and I want to do whatever it takes for us to win games. So,
Yep, well said. You've had 2 big years, and I think you're set up for a big junior year. Wanted to ask you guys about some guys that aren't on the QCast. Maybe I'll start with a guy that's a varsity reserve guy that's been like knocking on the door, and that's Brady Kuehl, who's a 6'6", kind of a four. I guess we'd call Brady kind of a forward. Has a lot of game, has that little like mid-range game. He's good around the basket. He's really athletic. He'll dunk it on you. Karlo, let me just ask you a little bit. What should we expect from Brady Kuehl this season?
Yeah. The first thing is I would say he's taller than 6'6". He's definitely
He's
about 6'7".
yeah.
He's getting up there, but no, Brady's a monster, and I think I can relate to him. He's had a couple of unlucky years, dealing with some injuries, but I think this year, not only is he knocking on the door, I think he's opened the door. I think he's entered the door, and I think he's going to be a big part of this team. I think just his jumping ability, his mid range is it's nasty, and he's going to be a great player for us. I'm really excited for him to be on the court, and hopefully we can throw him some lobs because gets up there and he catches those lobs, and so it should be exciting. And yeah, he's just a great player.
Another like me feeling old thing is that the reason I started loving the Titans when I was a freshman, his uncle Jeff Keel was a first team All-American for the Titans. I could not believe a Division 3 player was as good as Jeff Keel, and I was like, oh, this is serious stuff. And then in my class, Brady's dad, Steve Keel, was a first team All-Conference player. And it's freaky watching Brady play because he's some combination of those two, which is eerily freaky and cool. So I can't wait to see Brady play. He's waited his turn here. Jackson, let me ask you about this Noah Cleveland character. I've heard about Noah Cleveland because they recruited the daylights out of him. And he came to Illinois Wesleyan last year, chose not to play basketball. He's playing basketball. And then I saw this video that Randy Reinhardt posted yesterday of Noah Cleveland. And this dude is a monster. He's like a 6'8" beast. So Jackson, just give me a little preview here. What does Noah Cleveland bring to the table for the Titans?
Yeah, Noah's a great guy. He's a pretty gritty kid. He's willing to, as you saw, get in the weight room and work on his body physically, and then also on his skills on the court. But just personally playing with him this summer, and then obviously preseason, I'm a guy. I like playing with guys that can make up for my mistakes. So sometimes I get blown by, and he's more than willing to meet somebody at the rim and block some shots. I don't always throw the best passes. He's willing to go up and grab it and finish strong. So he's a wide shoulder, big frame guy that's willing to bang in the post. He's got a great shot, and then he defends. He plays extremely hard. He kind of checks all the boxes that you want. He checks all the boxes of being a true Titan.
Yeah, I'm excited to see him play. He had a really good high school career, and he provides, again, to Coach Rose's point about being just as big or bigger this year. I could see that when I look at him and look at Nathan. Um, Let me ask Josh, Brady Ruggles. So coming in, transfer from Air Force, a guy that was really heavily recruited as a high school guy, ended up going the D1 route. 6'6" junior. I think he has 3 years of eligibility left. Seems to me like a really skilled guy that can shoot the daylights out of. What are we seeing so far from newcomer Brady Ruggles?
Yeah, I mean, first off, he's a great kid. Like he's already like one of the most vocal kids on the team, which is great. Just shows how quickly everybody was able to like get close. But then on the court, like he's just a dude. Like he can just put the ball in the hoop. Like we've had like in practices, like everything's not clean yet on with our 5-on-5 yet because we're just putting everything in. But like possessions will break down and he'll just make a tough shot. And like he's a dude, like he'll do anything to win. He loves to compete. So like I don't know. It's great when you can add a dude like that.
Yeah, it seems like he'll be, I don't know what his role will be, but it seems like he will be in the middle of the action this year to some degree. Nathan, another newcomer that seems like will be on the floor this year is Casen Lawrence, who's a transfer from D2 Truman State. He's a guy that Coach Rose and staff wanted really bad out of high school. He went to a D2, and now he's going to be a Titan for his final 2 years. What's your early impressions, Nathan, about Casen Lawrence?
I mean, yeah, similar to what Josh said, I think just fitting in wise, he's a Titan. He fits in with the team really well, and I think he's a really hard worker. I always see him in the gym, and the biggest thing that stands out on the court is just how well he can shoot the ball from anywhere. He can shoot it really well, and just his feel and IQ for the game. Just when we're doing 5-on-5, you can see it and feel it playing with him. Just his feel for the game and how he can get people open and just make everybody around him better.
Yeah, if I went back and watched kind of some of his highlights from his D2 from Truman State, and you could tell, even though everyone shoots 1,000% in the highlight reels, I mean, you could tell that he can really, really, really shoot the basketball. So excited to have Cason, who's a 5'10", kind of a combo guard. Mason, wanted to ask you about a couple other guys that are returners, but what a luxury! I think one of the great things about the program always is to have like a guy like David Williams, who's we have some really talented point guards, and he's one of them. He's kind of scrapping his way into the rotation, right? He's been in the rotation, and he gives you such versatility and another guy that can handle the ball and play. Talk a little bit about D Will, if you would.
When I think of David, I think of a competitive dude. When we were doing open gyms and stuff before we started practicing, I always wanted to be at the open gym with David because I knew that was going to be the open gym that was the most competitive out of the two that we were playing. And every time I play with him, I feel like he makes me a better player. So obviously, I'm going to love to have that type of dude on my team. And he really just loves the game. He's great outside of basketball too. Really funny dude. Really helps the team chemistry. So overall, just a great dude.
Yeah, looking forward to him having a big senior season and playing point. And then Karlo, maybe ask you about Nick Tingley. I was at the game at Butler last year when he tore his ACL, which was tough. So that was late October. We're coming up on almost a year of that. Do we know is Nick healthy? Is he practicing? Because we know that he's got great size and can shoot the heck out of it. What's Nick's status? Do we know?
Yeah, he's back. He's practicing. I mean, I'm really impressed at how quickly he's getting back. I know an ACL injury and an ACL injury can end a person's career, and the way he's been battling it for a whole year and just, rehabbing it every day and just getting back on the court. You can tell how happy he is to be playing again. And he's looking good out there. I mean, he's been dunking too. He's been dunking. We've been playing 5-on-5. He got a couple of dunks and his shot looks great, and he's just getting back into it. And I don't think he's 100% himself yet, but he's still really good, and that's a scary thing about him is that he can keep getting better, and he will keep getting better as well.
I remember his highlight reel from high school, like serious dunks. Like I was like, that guy's dunking. Like it shocked me how well this guy was dunking. So hope Nick is healthy. There's a whole bunch of guys that we can't name everyone on the roster. We'll leave that to my conversation with Coach Rose when we do name every guy in the roster. But we have some very talented returners who I know played very well on the Portugal Spain trip, really decorated high school careers that are ready for their turn. We have a freshman class that is very good outside of the guys I named. And I know those guys are going to kind of fight their way into the conversation. And so it's a really exciting time. Just really one more big topic for you guys. I want to talk about the league before I let you go. So the CCIW this year, when they do the preseason poll, I assume that Carthage will be picked to win it. You know, they've got everybody back and plus some of the guys that were hurt. So I believe that they will be the clear number one, and I'm guessing will be the number two-ish. Josh, your battles last year with Carthage were good. We finally got them in that the game that mattered, the conference tournament game. Talk about Carthage a little bit, Josh, and some of the battles and things you were part of your freshman year.
Yeah, I mean, those games are great. Like always, great environments, great crowds, especially the championship one that we ended up getting. But like, I mean, like when the schedule comes out, like you see Carthage, honestly, all the conference games, but like specifically Carthage, like you see them and it's like, oh, this game's gonna be awesome. So I don't know. The battles last year, like they obviously have a bunch of dudes and we have a bunch of dudes, so it's fun competing against a team like that.
And Jackson, on your side of that, obviously they're very talented. That Ryan Johnson kid's really good, and they've got a ton around him. When you think about the games this year against Carthage and kind of going up against them, and both teams being in the hopes of winning the title, how do you look at this season and kind of Carthage?
Yeah, I think just as a fundamental thing at Wesleyan, we always say it's IWU versus IWU. So how we prepare for the game is less about them and more about us. Can we execute to our best ability? Can we screen hard? Are we getting 50-50 balls, or how are we playing together as opposed to, hey, how are they playing? Or is this guy, or should we be worried about this guy? But we're more focused on ourselves. But obviously, teams like Carthage, and we had some battles with Augustana and Elmhurst in these past 2 years. Those are games that you're just so excited about, and then especially later in the season in the conference tournament, those are games you circle and you can't wait for.
Mason, in terms of just the CCIW itself, you've been now in the middle of two seasons worth of CCIW battles, and you know it really is a war when you get in the league. You know, I'm thinking back to that game at Augie last year where they didn't have the greatest season, but you go there, it's a full house, it's intense. I could tell this just from watching the stream. It was hostile. I think Coach Rose got tossed. Like it was. Talk about the league a little bit, Mason, and just kind of going through the grind of the CCIW.
Well, you have to stay focused every single game because even though someone's at the bottom of the poll or whatever, they could still come out any single day and beat the best team in the league. So you have to prepare like it's the championship every single time you play because they can surprise some people. They can put it together. Like no team in this league is bad, which makes it that much more fun. Is because it's not like you're going to this place and you get to take a day off. It's like we're going to this place and we're going to go to war because they're good at what they do.
Nathan, build on that a little bit. You've now seen three seasons of this. You've seen a lot of games where very good Titan teams were taken to the buzzer, taken to overtime, were beaten by teams that were lower in the standings. What does it take, Nathan, to kind of go through and earn a CCIW title?
I think it's a lot of mental toughness. I mean, in this playing the CCIW, like you never know what's going to happen. It's really physical, chippy, like it's just really competitive. So the biggest thing I think is mental toughness. And then just, as a team, like I think that's something that's going to help us this year is just how close we all are, like we've mentioned. So I think, when we get into those games, those away games, and it's 24 of us versus everybody else in the arena, like I think that's going to really help us just how close we are. And then just the biggest thing is mental toughness, I would say.
Carlo, is there a toughest place on the road to play in the CCIW? I guess that changes every year based on who's good, but is there a certain gym where it's just like regularly kind of a grindy place to play?
That's a good question. Um, I don't know if the guys would agree. I mean, every year, like you said, it changes year to year. I feel like last year, I'd say Carthage was probably a tough place. It was hostile. Definitely the
Sure.
CCIW championship game was hostile. You can feel the hostility, but it's also the excitement. And those are the type of games that, you live for and you work out for. And so I'd say Carthage and then Milliken 2 years ago
Sure.
was a tough place. So, I'd say every single team, like Funk said, they have their own unique abilities, and when they play the Titans, no matter what the record is, they're playing their best game, and we just got to be ready.
Totally agree. And, I'll ask you one final question just about the coaching staff, but just to remind everyone, the Titans open at the SICMA Invitational November 15th and 16th. We play Illinois College, coached by Titan great Steve Schweer, class of what, 2006, a great Titan. He's built the Blue Boys up to something special. And so that's going to be a big game to open the season. And then the Titans will play either Maryville of Tennessee or Oshkosh the next night. So the SICMA tournament field is as good as ever. The non-conference schedule is incredible. We won't go through all the games, but we've got obviously Nick Roper coming to town on my birthday. We've got the Wash U game, which is at some weird 2 o'clock time. I don't know why. And we've got the Yeshiva rematch in New York. So these Yeshiva people, guys, they are. I talk so much trash to these people for 2 years. Now I got to dial it down because now the game's here, and these people are going to be waiting for us at that gym. And I apologize that you guys have to play a charged up crowd because of this trash talking I do. I can't help myself, but the Yeshiva game is going to be spectacular, and I can't wait to be there. And I'll take you to dinner the night before, like I did 4 years ago, because I've been doing all this trash talking. So it's going to be another exciting season. Um, the coaching staff, we have a couple new faces. We have a returning face, Liam Thompson. Welcome back, Liam. And Logan Christensen. This is another Q feels old. We lived in Lincoln, Nebraska for 4 years, and we had season tickets to the Cornhuskers. And our seats were next to State Farm coworker John Christensen and this tiny little kid, Logan. Well, now Logan is an assistant coach for the Titans. So Q feels really old for the third time on the podcast today. Guys, I do want to ask you before I let you go, kind of what you appreciate about the coaching staff. I know we're between Ron, Andy, Liam, Bobby, and Logan. We have a really big time group here. Mason, I'll go around the room. Kind of what do you like about the Titan coaching staff and how they help you guys prepare?
Well, I think they're all just great dudes outside of basketball, and that carries into basketball. I mean, you can say Coach Rose is one of the most charismatic dudes I know. When he laughs, it just lights up the room. And that's something that you can go to practice every day and be like, okay, like I'm cool being here. And I think just their personalities are awesome.
Josh Fridman, how about just kind of your thoughts on how the coaching staff helps you guys in your journey here?
Obviously what Funk said, and then also like I love that like they're like all in. Like they want to win just as bad as us. And it's kind of like when we like they build us up during practice, and then when we go to games with them, it's like we're going to war with them. Like they're on our side. And it's awesome when you have like a coaching staff that's like behind you and like with you and has the same goals. It's fun to be a part of.
Very well said, Nathan. Boldt, entering your senior year, you've been with these guys 3 years, and then your recruitment where they followed you to various gyms all year long. And how did your thoughts on this staff that you're playing for?
Yeah, I mean, like they said, the other guys, just how genuine of people they are, just before they're coaches, just how good of people they are. And then as coaches, just the amount of like preparation and stuff they do for our program and the amount of film they watch. And then even with Coach T, like coming in as a freshman, it was his first year. And then now as a senior, he's coming back. So I think it's pretty cool that he's back. But really just the amount of effort and preparation and, similar to what Josh said, is how much they want to win and see us succeed is very helpful.
Yeah, Liam being back is a great thing, and I've noticed all of a sudden we got a whole bunch of recruits from Indiana. So I like that he's brought the Hoosier State kids into the mix, which I really appreciate. Um, Carlo, how about on your end before we close this out? Just your thought on this staff. Obviously, they recruited the heck out of you. You've been here for 3 years, and Coach Rose and crew here.
Yeah, I mean, just going off all the what all the other guys said, I mean, what a blessing it is to have a full coaching staff that cares about you not just as a player, but as a person, and that's just so bought in to this whole entire program and what we're all about. And, that just goes with, when you're trying to win, not only are you trying to win for, your teammates, the players, but also for the coaches. You want to see them succeed as much as they want to see you succeed. And that's something that keeps you going back to practice every day. That's something that keeps you, mentally tough. And that's something that keeps that fire within you. And so just I love this group, the five coaches that we have, and I'm ready to bring a championship to them this year.
And Jackson, we'll let you kind of close us out here on that same question. Just a little bit of a shout out on thoughts on Coach Rose and Andy, Liam, Bobby, Logan, and the kind of the season ahead and how they're leading you guys.
Yeah, for sure. I'm so glad Coach T's back. I remember he recruited me and he went to a lot of my games and we had a great relationship and then obviously he left, but him coming back is awesome. And then along with Logan and then with Coach Rose, Coach E, Coach Wheat, I think one of the most unique parts of being a Titan and being here and these guys would agree is our relationships with them is not basketball dependent. I've had several conversations in Coach Rose's office where I walk in, sit down for 30 minutes, 45 minutes where we don't talk hoops, and I don't think that's everywhere you go. I think a lot of programs are depending on basketball, but same thing with Coach E, Coach We could be talking about who knows what, but it's not dependent on just basketball. But as far as the season goes, I can't think of a better group of leaders that lead not only vocally but also by example. They put in the work, they do the scouts, they think of everything possible, and it really sets the tone for us and for the season to come.
Very well said. And I know everyone's excited about the season. Again, I think there is a thought in some circles that Illinois Wesleyan men's basketball is about to have a rebuilding year. And I really don't see that happen. I know that from talking to Coach Rose a little bit, and I always know when I ask him in the preseason, which I did at the golf tournament, like how he's feeling. He doesn't. It's not the words; it's the look on his face, and the look on his face made me feel really good about this season. I think he knows he has a really, really talented team. So, guys, thank you so much for making this work and being part of the QCast Season 6 premiere. Obviously excited to get to games this year and watch you guys play. And, you guys have been great Titans, and this is going to be a fun season ahead of us. So I'll just thank Mason Funk, Karlo Colak, Nathan Boldt, Jackson Niego, and Josh Fridman, who are all going to have monster seasons. Guys, enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and thanks for being part of this little QCast season preview, okay?
Thanks, Q.
Thank you, Bob. Hey, Bob, I have a question. I have a question real quick.
Please.
When you posted the Instagram post about us joining the QCast, I got a little text from our friend Jackson Monroe, and he really wanted me to ask you on the podcast.
Yeah.
What can he do to get on the QCast? I told him he has to transfer to Wesley and help us win a championship. But
Yeah, I mean, right. He has been a QCast supporter, this kid, Jackson. Like, I really appreciate him. Now, I was hoping maybe he'd be wearing the green and white eventually, is what I was hoping. But there's a path for him to get on this, Carlo. Maybe you and I could broker that. Would that be fair? If he wants to be on it bad enough, we can make this work.
For sure. And I told him we can make it work.
Yeah.
We'll set something up.
Tell him the door's open. It's like you said, Brady Kuehl, he had opened the door. He's walked in the room. We need Jackson Monroe to do some things to open the door still.
Sounds good. Sounds good. And
Gentlemen,
he'll listen to this whole entire podcast.
I know he will. It's sometimes the people that want it the most, I make it the hardest on them. And I need to stop doing that. I need to have him on, but it feels like there's some things we could get out of this. We could work this to our advantage, probably, is all I'm saying.
For sure. I agree.
Gentlemen, you guys are awesome. Be great, and I'll see you guys in the gym sometime really soon, okay?
Thanks, Q.